Let's talk anime. Hello and welcome to Brandon's Discuss Anime, a 15 plus Reckless Amoeba podcast. I am your host, Brandon Horvath, and with me are my co-host, Brandon Palinger.
We need to stop doing intros. We just got to get right to the anime and be done with it, all right, man? None of this banter crap. In fact, don't even introduce Orion. It's irrelevant.
Yeah, don't even introduce me, dude. Alright, can you introduce me real quick?
And also with us are Ryan Stokely.
Yeah, well, I thought I said not to do that, and even he agreed. Come on.
Yeah. So, let's get into today's anime.
Banter is irrelevant. Anime only. That's what we're here for. Speaking of, have you seen the Apple versus Epic lawsuit and all the bullshit that's coming out of there?
No.
Yes.
Oh, dirty laundry is everywhere. Holy shit.
Somebody just drop like a Me Too bomb on Epic or something.
Fuck. You're finding out all sorts of shit, like how much Epic actually paid to get exclusivity, how much they made from that. They were complaining about a banana being naked. Like, there is just some stupid shit slinging in this fucking thing. Hell, it started off
Being naked?
Yes, there was a banana. I believe they called him Peely. I think he's a Fortnite skin and or character, right?
Uh-huh.
And they said something along the lines of like, "We've decided to put Peely in a suit because we're in a court of law." And like I think the Apple lawyers are like, "Is something wrong with Peely not wearing a suit? Is him being naked a problem?" To which I believe the Epic lawyer replies, "It's just a banana, man." Like, what the shit is happening? What the fuck is this?
Some petty stuff going on, man.
Like, holy fucking shit. Let's not even get into, like, all of the legal documentation that's coming out that's showing how ridiculous these earnings are.
Is it a lot?
It depends, I would say, because Epic puts a lot of money into a company to buy its exclusivity.
Oh, okay.
And how much they get back off of that seems to vary quite wildly. Like, they didn't make money on having Borderlands 3 for, like, the year exclusivity deal. They didn't make money on that at all. But then you, like, pay a game, I think, and that's, like, the biggest one that didn't make them money, right? Other AAA ones, like, I think Metro Last Light was the most recent one of that series. Whatever the Metro game was that they took made them money. But, like, you buy up an indie game and it's like, yeah, you're only going to get, like, 500,000 at most.
Huh.
It's like, yeah, whatever. Okay, sure. Because this is a game that, like, Super Meat Boy's been out forever. Who cares? It's more and more obvious why you would be stupid not to take that deal, because it's just free money, especially when it's only a temporary, like, exclusivity deal. Yes, the temporary bad PR for doing that is there,
Yeah.
but the amount of money you get kind of completely offsets that. Because then once it does release on, like, Steam or wherever else it's going to release, it's going to explode. I don't know. Like, I would recommend people just look at some of the shit that came out of there before, like, without me going over every little thing. It's kind of insane.
It's just all...
Like, what was it? Like, the last thing about this, though, is basically, like, a lot of the lawyers, after some of this stuff got released, are screaming at the judge, like, you can't show that. No, you cannot show that. That's secrets. That's company secrets. You can't release that shit. Like, what is it? We saw the contract, I guess, between Nintendo and I forget who else it was, where it's like, you cannot do business with literally any level of Yakuza person.
What?
Like, every single rank of Yakuza is listed there. You can't do business with captains, you can't do business with generals, etc., right? Like, and I have to assume that's from, like, back in the Sega versus Nintendo days, where they were literally doing some bullshit with the Yakuza, like Sega was.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, Sega was doing business with the Yakuza from what I understand. They were doing business with the Yakuza to the point of like raiding arcade cabinets and shit. Like destroying arcade cabinets from Nintendo.
What the fuck? Wait, why?
Because the Sega ones are the ones you want to play. Like, so just some real ridiculous shit.
Wait a minute. Is that why there's a bunch of Sega games in the Yakuza franchise?
Well, Sega makes the Yakuza franchise for one, and
Is-
the guy that makes that franchise, the main director, isn't exactly shy about saying, "Yeah, I basically hang out with the Yakuza."
Oh.
Wow.
Like, he won't say that with those words, but his general attitude is kind of there.
Huh.
Anyway, this is all irrelevant. Anime now.
Yes.
And anything from you, Ryan, before we dive in?
Not really.
Okay. Yeah, I honestly don't really have much to bring up this week. So, although I did see there is a Mario Kart Uno being released.
Oh, let me add one thing. There's a free update to Mario Party, which is apparently adding more shit to it. I haven't looked at it yet, but I'm sitting there like you've waited almost a year and a half before doing this. It's
Yeah.
felt small to begin with because there's been like 4 stages and that's it.
You talk about the mobile?
No. The Mario Party games. The game on Switch.
Oh, wait, wow. That's crazy. There's only like 4 maps and shit.
Yeah, there's only 4 maps on that.
That's like what the one we played. Wait,
It is the one we played.
That is the one we played.
Yes.
And
There's only 4
like,
maps.
an update for that.
No, not until a year and a half later.
Wow.
Like, I don't know if COVID delayed that or what, but I'm just sitting there like it's been a while, guys. I'm not gonna lie, when I bought that game, I felt kind of ripped. Well, I got it for a Christmas present, but point is, I felt kind of ripped off because I'm like, it don't seem like a lot. I remember other games had way more.
How much do the other ones have?
I want to say between 6 to 8 maps, depending on which game you're playing. And we only got 4 in there, one of which had to be unlocked.
Oh. And I did find one thing that, just like a little offhand comment, since we're all familiar with Magic the Gathering, a Black Lotus showed up in Japan.
I'm very disappointed it wasn't a White Lotus tile.
The asking price for it, 30 million yen.
Oh shit, that's right. You're mentioning cards. Sorry, I just thought of something to bring up after this, but yes. 30 million yen for a single card?
Yes, because it is the rarest Magic the Gathering card.
Wait,
What does it cost over here?
what card is it?
Black Lotus.
Oh yeah, it's like $30,000 here, or like $60,000.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Is it even a playable card at this
Yes.
point anyway?
People use it, or I think it's banned.
Well, that's what I was wondering because I know Magic the Gathering has like rotating ban lists.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's been banned since like that set, or like the first 3 sets, because of how like ridiculous it is. It's 0 cost and what, 3 mana?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's slightly played, so very, very good condition.
Hmm.
And the card is from Alpha, so the first
Yeah.
set. So
Yep.
so this
Sorry.
is like 30-ish years old at this point, in relatively really good condition.
Yeah, there's one going for $50,000 on eBay. We have 17 people watching it. There's a
Wow.
bunch that are like 4,500. There's one for 2,000, but they're bids, so that will probably go up. Another one for 42,000. Another one for 75,000.
Wow.
Another one for 120,000.
Jeez.
Another one for 500,000.
Whoa!
I'm just scrolling down. This is on eBay Live. Another one for 800,000.
Are those all current or are those
Yeah.
closed ones?
No, this one has 12, almost 1,300 people watching this, going for 800,000.
Well, the 30 million yen kind of doesn't seem that expensive now.
Jesus Christ.
And your other thing, Brandon.
So, have you heard about the trading card shortages that have been going on?
No.
Oh.
So apparently, and I first heard about this maybe like 2 weeks ago, of like trading card shortages, like to the point of literally lining outside of Targets before they open in order to get in and buy packs of cards, right?
Are you talking like mostly Pokemon nowadays?
Oh no, it's like Pokemon. Well, Pokemon was one of them. I've also heard sports cards.
Oh yeah, people are trying to get like rookie cards.
I've seen some stories about people being stabbed to get this shit, like
Really?
as they're walking out.
Stabbed?
Yes, stabbed and their shit stolen. It's gotten kind of ludicrous to the point that both Walmart and Target are no longer going to carry those things. I don't know specifically if they're dropping certain ones or if it's all trading cards. I know Target mentioned Pokemon specifically, and I think sports cards. I don't know about others like, say, Yu-Gi-Oh! Or whatever else is there. But yeah, I think that started on like the 14th, I want to say. They stopped carrying them.
Shortages due to COVID or what?
I assume COVID, because people are trying to buy that stuff in order to entertain themselves and or realizing that they're worth money.
Huh.
I was listening to, what was it? It was a Giant Bombcast I was listening to, and they were talking about how like this guy and his barber were gonna like, they had their own plan of like running out and having a goddamn like circuit that they would travel in a car with to hit each targets at certain areas and do like a loop or something to hit targets and grab cards that were in stock.
Wow.
And come back out. And I'm just like, really? For fucking cards, really? This is ludicrous.
Huh.
Of all the things.
Huh. Yeah, that is just crazy.
It seems insane to me that it's trading cards that are doing this. Which means I need to sell that stack of like baseball cards and shit that I've been sitting on for like 6 years that I just haven't had the time to either move or the effort or the will to move it. Because if people are looking for this shit now, I could probably sell it at a decent price and make a nice profit.
Yeah.
Considering I bought it so cheap back then.
Yeah, and I have all the old Pokemon cards I could sell.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude. So as a kid, my buddies had like a huge binder. I'm talking like, I think they had like over 4,000 Pokemon cards in it, and most of it was like holograms. Like it was two of my friends' collection combined, and like they like let me borrow it to like look at, I guess, because that's the shit we did back then. Just let people borrow. And this kid underneath me, he's like, "Oh, can I see him?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I let him borrow them, and then we never saw the cards again.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and then the kid like moved away. So ever since then, dude, my one friend, he's like, "You know how many thousands of dollars we could have right now?" I'm like, yeah, I didn't expect him to steal it, and they wouldn't let us. They were just pieces of shit people, I guess. We got, yeah.
I mean, I had one like that where like, what was it? I was selling some of the cards I had, and it was end of elementary school, so 5th grade, I think it would have been. I sold them off, and the kid told me he'd be back the next day to like give me the rest of the money that he'd owed me for that. So I gave him the cards because I'm a stupid kid. And I'm like, yeah, you just pay me the next day you're here. And I think we had like 2 days left in the school year, and he was absent both days. And then I found out later that we went to 2 separate schools at that point because it like divvied off. depending on like where you were located, like where your home was at. And I'm just like, well, I just got fucked out of money.
Yeah, I've had
Like in retrospect, it wasn't much. It was like $20 or $30, but still, as a kid at that point, it's like that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
To a 5th grade kid.
Yeah. I've had video games stolen. I'd let someone borrow a video game and never get it back.
Mm-hmm.
That I buy with like my Christmas money. And games were the same price back then as they are now.
I mean, not so much anymore. So now they're more.
Yeah, well,
because they're trying to charge like $70 in some of the new games.
Yeah, well, that's how it was. Still, dude, the Mario RPG for Super Nintendo was $80.
Mm-hmm.
It was a super rare game. I remember going to Kmart and always just like looking at it and like wanting to get it.
Jeez.
But like I bought like Animaniacs for $60. Like most of the games were like $50 to $60.
Is that the same one that was on the Game Boy? Because I have the Animaniacs on the Game Boy. It might have been a ported version of it for that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I never played the one on Game Boy. But yeah, kids suck.
But you know what doesn't suck? Today's anime.
Irrelevant. We need to keep bantering. I've changed my mind. Pray I did not change it any further.
Oh man.
Okay, Ryan. Today's anime is Harlock Saga.
Harlock Saga?
Yes.
I will probably put it in the chat just so that way you know how it's spelled.
Oh, Harlock. Okay. Harlock. Harlock Saga. Well, it sounds like it's revolved around like a school for girls.
Okay.
And it's the school's called Harlock, whatever. Something like Harlock University, whatever.
Harlock Academy.
Yeah, Harlock Academy. That sounds better. And it just follows the group of sorority girls or something, or not sorority, but like their daily shenanigans.
All right. Well, is there any major plot to this, or is it just slice of life, daily, what's going on today?
Slice of life, silly stuff, you know.
All right.
Somebody slaps somebody. They get in a big fight at the food hall, mess hall, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know, maybe 2 main characters, sisters, and their rivals, and maybe it follows them.
All right.
They hate each other at the beginning, and the story arc, they figure out that they're pretty much the same, and they become best friends.
This is way too heartwarming for my blood.
Yeah.
I don't like this.
So what's it really?
Are you familiar with Richard Wagner?
No.
He is a German opera composer who wrote Der Ring des Nibelungen, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. So this is actually based on the first opera in that series, The Ring of Rheingold. So this is an anime based on a German opera from the 1860s and 70s.
Oh, wow.
It is interesting because I'm not quite sure how much of it is faithfully adapted, because Harlock and his space pirate crew are inserted into this opera. So you have characters from the opera interacting with Harlock and company.
Sounds like somebody decided to make a fanfic.
Maybe.
Harlock was totally a self-insert for this guy. That's for sure.
This is a 6-episode series. There was going to be more, but it never got adapted into anime format. Parts 2 and 3 were finished, and 4 was never finished. I think I was telling you the opposite, Brandon, when I was talking to you about it on Sunday.
Yeah, which is what was confusing me about that, because it seemed like it was done in the wrong order then.
Yeah, but supposedly this guy, Leiji Matsumoto, he happens to take a lot on his plate without actually finishing it because, according to what I'm reading, a lot of his works are unfinished. So I'm not sure if they didn't adapt parts 2 and 3 into anime because they're like, oh, we're gonna wait until he's finished with all of it and then release the other 3 parts? Or what? Because it kind of ends on a sort of cliffhanger.
It alludes heavily to, I wouldn't call it a cliffhanger, but it definitely alludes to there being more.
So do you have any questions before we get into it, Orion?
How many episodes? How many seasons? Or how many seasons? How many episodes? And how long are the episodes?
1 season, although there were going to be 3 more, each based on another opera in this series, or like kind of a franchise, before the concept of a franchise was really a thing. Half-hour episodes, and this was released in 1999. So, kind of an oldie. A little bit.
Yeah.
Definitely smells like the 90s with that look it has.
That's my favorite style.
Well, I would probably said closer to the 80s, but sure.
Mm-hmm. Like, this is drawn similar to how Dragon Ball Z is. Like that.
I would say not quite like that. Give me a second. I'm trying to find a good image here. This one's good enough for now.
So, is there a main character?
Captain Harlock, a space pirate who really isn't as much of a pirate.
Yeah, he's definitely not a pirate. That is for sure. The only thing that makes him a pirate is literally the fact that he has a skull and crossbones on his goddamn ship.
And that's it.
That's about it. There you go. That'll give you a good idea of what it looks like.
Oh, okay.
He's also got an eye patch, so you know.
Yeah.
Also, you can kind of see his little buddy that's like in front of him there with like the weird long hat and the reddish cloak, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So tell me, all right, because I mentioned this to Brandon before when I was talking to him. That doesn't seem like it totally inspired this piece of shit right here. Let's see here.
The spaceship looks awesome.
It's literally got a back end that looks like a ship, a literal ship.
Oh, that guy's creepy as
For the
hell.
boat. Tell me his buddy there that's sitting in front of Harlock himself with the hat, the glasses, and the cloak doesn't kind of remind you of this guy.
Yeah, he definitely does.
Like, somebody stole some fashion here, and I'm not sure which one it was. But it looks kind of like Alucard from Hellsing, not gonna lie. Way less intimidating, but definitely a similar fashion sense.
Yeah. One looks like Cousin It.
I will say, though, because I was trying to find a picture of that character, his name's Tochiro, earlier when I was searching around, and it seems like most of the versions that have Harlock in here, he tends to have like more brown colored clothing instead. But for some reason in this one, it's red. And I don't know why.
Yeah.
See,
Harlock actually started in the, I think, 72 with his first series, and he's been popping up every now and then with series or a insert into another work of Leiji Matsumoto.
Okay, also, let us both just come out here and say that we went ahead and watched the dub on this. So anything that we're talking about here is totally from the dub. We don't know what's in the subs.
I watched the sub.
Oh, you did watch the sub. Okay.
Yeah, so they did like a 3D animation in this, it looks like, with the spaceship.
A little bit. There's a little tiny bit here and there that I noticed of 3D.
That's
I
pretty neat.
think there was a CG Harlock series in 2013.
So can I also say this quickly?
Mhm.
Because we mentioned the art a little bit in this. And I feel like I would be remiss to not mention the fact that, like, other than one person in this who's only in it for like all of 5 minutes, if that, every single woman in this saga specifically looks identical with slight changes to their hair color and style. Like, all of their faces look the same.
Dude, the art style, I can't figure out what anime it reminds me of, but it reminds me of, like you said, I guess the earlier anime style, like elongated faces.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think of like what it.
Like, what is it? It's Esmeralda. She's the only one who's in there for like the first 5 minutes for some reason, and then just walks away.
She needs to do something on her own ship, she claims.
Yeah, and you know, considering how long it seems like this 6-episode saga takes, that should have taken her maybe the first episode, if that. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Every single woman in this looks damn near identical. Esmeralda is literally the only one, and she's gone in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, I am not disagreeing with you, but I actually confused Mime with Mattel.
Mm-hmm. Like, I guess you could argue Mime and Freya because they're supposed to be sisters, but they never say they're twins. So I'm just sitting here like, they look identical. I'll also say, who was the kid that was brought on? What was his name again?
The kid, Tadashi.
So my first thought on seeing him was like, oh shit, we're getting a flashback with baby Harlock. Because they look identical. He looks like a baby Harlock.
Actually, I believe his father, who is dead in this series, was an old friend of Harlock from the prior or a.
No, I got that. I got that once we got past the whole, oh, this looks like a baby Harlock. And then we got like the actual, oh, this is who the character is. But on first seeing him, I'm like, it's a flashback with baby Harlock. Okay. How's this going to tie into the story? And then it's like, no, this is a completely separate character who just looks like a baby Harlock.
And just like going off on a slight sidetrack here, I do remember there is a 6-episode series about Mattel and her flying train, if I'm pronouncing her name correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So I might watch that on my own time because I like 80% like this series.
I don't dislike the core of this story. I just dislike some of the inconsistencies that are in it. And some of the poor art style choices. Can I also point out that why does Harlock have a sword when he's supposed to be a space pirate? What does a sword do for you at all? He never draws the damn thing.
Yeah, but you're not a pirate if you don't have a sword.
He's not a pirate! Oh!
He's a space pirate, dude.
No, he's not! He doesn't do anything piratey! He literally starts talking about how he needs to save the world and he's this great hero. And I'm just like, no pirate talks like this!
Yeah.
I didn't even hear a yar-har or a yo-ho in here at all.
Now, he doesn't, like, loot anybody.
No!
No, never steals a damn thing.
Nope. Not in this, anyway.
Mime's brother steals gold from a planet Rhine.
Yeah, he steals gold, and Harlock's like, I'm gonna take it back and return it. Like a real pirate.
And that is basically our plot. Get back the Rhine gold.
Which, for blah-de-blah plot reasons, essentially means, oh, self-destruction of the universe. Or rather, I should say, Literal implosion to the un-Big Bang. Don't act like this is part of the problems I have, where it's like, so apparently in the center of our universe, which is supposed to be a supermassive black hole of some sort, that's galaxies technically, but still, I would think with a Big Bang there'd be something in the center there. Either way, there's supposedly, and the way they picture it does look like a galaxy, which is probably why I'm constantly referring to it as a supermassive black hole. Point is, they keep saying, oh, that's where the gods live. That's where those gods live, blah, blah, blah. And if the Rheingold is used, it apparently stops time and the gods age, and they hate that. And they're like, oh man, if they destroy it, then if they destroy like the Valhalla, which is what they call it, if my brother goes there and destroys Valhalla, everything will get warped back in and we'll have an un-Big Bang, basically. And I'm just sitting here like, how does that make any goddamn sense?
Well, maybe the ring, yes, he turns this gold ingot into a skull and crossbones ring that powers up his ship or something?
See, that's the other part that doesn't make sense, because the way they insinuate the gold works is that it fucks with... Alright, so here we go. This is going to be the fun part of explaining this. So, the gods have Mime, who is apparently a part of a race that was essentially banished and disgraced. And another woman, who they call Freya, play an organ, and I guess the harmonization between those two organs playing at the same time slows down time within Valhalla compared to the rest of the universe. Supposedly the ring fucks with that harmonization, and it causes Valhalla to age the way it should normally anyway. Why that means none of Valhalla's weaponry or any kind of self-defenses wouldn't work against it, I don't know. I don't understand what the power of this ring is other than just it fucks with this harmonization to keep Valhalla from aging.
And then again, this could be a thing from the opera that we're not getting.
Well, they've also adapted it into a space opera.
Mm-hmm.
Which kind of fucks with it as a whole in general. Right.
Wait, so the original play was a space opera?
It
No.
was not. It was set... They made it in what, like the 1870s or something?
Yep.
Okay, I was going to say, because...
It's literally a play made in the 1870s that was kind of meant to be like... What is it? A mix of German
And Norse.
And Norse mythologies.
But with pirate ships. And
No.
No.
These pirate ships?
No. That's literally this adaptation that does it.
Okay.
The anime self-inserts its own cast and makes it space.
Okay, they just took the story, sort of. And
They just kind of took the story, self-inserted some characters, and then changed the setting to space.
Okay. I was going to say that...
They also don't... You know what? I just realized. They don't explain what the darkness is. Because we see the darkness at some point literally eat a planet. Doesn't he eat Planet Ryan at the beginning of the series?
Yes.
How the fuck is he going to return it? How does he return the gold when the planet looks like it was destroyed?
They slapped the darkness on the nose with...
I forgot about that when we were talking on Sunday.
Spit it out.
How the fuck does he return it?
Good question.
Those supposed 3 guardian spirits or priestesses or whatever are very dead. There are massive plot holes.
Leggy forgot.
Like, there's that. There's the fact that Harlock talks like he's some kind of supermassive hero, but is in fact supposed to be a pirate, but isn't. Gotta save the whole world or the human race will die. And I'm just sitting there like, that is not the reason you're a fucking pirate. A pirate will say that he needs to save his own skin. A pirate will say, if I don't save the world, then there'll be no gold to steal. It's literally you and your profit. It's not for the greater good, ever, if you're a pirate. Like, even in One Piece, it's literally Luffy's own self-desire of freedom and pushing that on other people that makes him a good character, like a good person. And that's just him wanting other people to be free. It's his own it's his own, pushing his own way of life on other people. Now, granted, it's a good way of life to be just as free as that, but it's still him pushing his own agenda on others to a certain degree. It's still a self-centered desire.
So, like I was saying, Albrecht steals the Rheingold. He says, hey, I need to make this into a ring that can only be done on one place and by one person, planet Earth.
What?
Clearly, because there's only this one guy can turn this ingot into a ring. Just this one person in the entire universe.
Dude, Lord of the Rings, the only freaking certain blacksmiths could make the rings.
Lord of the Rings also isn't set in an entire universe.
Yeah, but still, dude. There could be just one.
Yeah. Weren't they also like half gods or whatever that did it? Like infusing those rings with that power and shit?
Yeah.
In this case, it's literally just an entire universe of anybody. Like, this kid isn't even anything special, really.
And a side character from the Harlock universe says to this kid, hey, if anybody comes with you with an ingot and says he wants to make a ring, don't do it.
Wait. That wasn't just Mime in disguise?
That was Mattel.
I swore that was just Mime in disguise, or like self-projecting or something. I didn't even know that was a separate character.
I was fooled at first too, until I'm like, wait a minute, she's going on a train, and I was looking it up, and that is Mattel.
I was assuming that was just like Mime being like, hey, I gotta catch a train, blah blah blah, and that's my excuse for not sticking around, and my projection or whatever vanishing. You're telling this is a completely separate character now.
Yes,
they look identical. The literal difference is that one's like a darker blonde and her eyes are open a bit more. There's no other difference.
So of course Albrecht comes to him and says, hey, I have an ingot for you. You wouldn't make a ring for me? And Tadashi says, no, I don't want to do it.
I made a promise I wouldn't do this.
Oh, you mustn't be that good of a blacksmith.
Ah, man, I guess you're not that good. Shut up! I can do it! I'm just sitting here like, well, that was fast. That didn't take much. That's kind of pathetic.
Yes!
It was literally one sentence. Oh, I guess you're not that good. That turned him in a second. It's like, what the fuck is this? It's not even an argument. There's just like an offhand comment and immediately 180s on his decision.
He is just a little bit pathetic, but luckily he was wearing a bulletproof vest when he got shot.
I mean, he does seem like he's in some of the shadier areas of town, I'll be honest. Mm-hmm. Based on what we've seen. It looks like a real shitty area, so I'm not exactly surprised that he'd be wearing something like that. Let's also, you know what, like, we're getting into the nitty-gritty. We just need to paint the bigger details here, which is just, hey, Albrecht gets the ring, he starts sitting around for a while. You have fucking Harlock and the others being like, well, we gotta figure out what we gotta do, and for some reason, Mime just refuses to tell them anything. Like, they could have been at fucking Valhalla within the second or third episode instead of the fifth, if Mime had just actually talked.
Yeah. Is it a lot of, like, long shots of silence or something?
More like Mime literally beating around the bush and not telling them the direct information they need. And so they're, like, off trying to discover said information for a while. Like, they go to a planet at one point that, like, I guess houses a stolen spaceship from Valhalla that then gets detonated because apparently they know where it's at for some reason.
And these Valhallian ships are like Death Star planets.
I don't even know that. Because they said the ship was inside the planet, and it was like a planet within a planet.
Yeah, it was more like orb-shaped ships.
Mm-hmm. Well, hey, that fucking fortress they were making was literally a Death Star.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference was, rather than shooting out a laser, it sucks in enemy ships.
And there was like that fish skeleton inside the one planet
Mm-hmm.
that like powered the spaceship.
Supposedly, yeah, that was what powered it or something like that. Like it was weird bones or something. They weren't very clear on it. Just kind of par for the course for this.
Again, maybe it was a relic of the opera, like some skeleton or something.
It could have been. Wasn't very clear. We finally get to Valhalla. Apparently, there's the organ player Freya that we talked about before gets raped by the guys that are trying to construct this fortress to protect them from the ring, the gods from the ring. And they're like, "We just want to touch your skin," and it ends with them raping her. It's done tastefully, where it's just kind of cuts away as they walk up to her, and you see like, I think it's flower petals or something, like fly through the air, which I think is supposed to mean like symbolize the whole idea of like deflowering or whatever. Yeah, it cuts back to like Wotan, who's the king of the gods, not Odin for some reason. Wotan, unless that's Germanic in this case, who's like, "Oh man, such a shame, but we need that fortress to get finished."
And I did find it just a little bit funny when Wotan is like, "Oh, Mime's coming, but damn it, she has humans with her. How dare they come along?" And I'm like,
But humans were at the start of this.
yeah.
Because apparently they've been sleeping for so long, and their like 10-minute nap is hundreds of thousands of years in the rest of the universe.
And I'm like, well, Mime is with humans. Why not just like use your god magic to just teleport them? Why teleport the entire Arcadia? Which is the name of...
I was going to say, yeah, the Arcadia is the name of the ship. Also, what makes them gods? Because they don't seem to have any kind of power outside of just advanced technology, which, as far as I can tell, isn't that much more advanced than what we've already seen in other places.
And extreme age.
Well, I mean, yes, they're fucking with time. Like with those organs, etc., etc. Which is technology to me, not a natural, I don't age thing.
And Mime has been on the run from Wotan for over 650 million years.
Yeah, you know, that's only like a 10-minute nap to Wotan, though. Here's the other part that I don't understand, because specifically with that line, I'm like, wait, if she's been on the run that long, right, and that means she's not been playing the organ for that long, doesn't that mean their aging should have stopped when she stopped playing?
Well, maybe Freya's playing slowed down time instead of stopping it?
I don't know if that makes much sense, though. Because they specifically mentioned the harmonization. And without the other organ, there is no harmonization.
Good point.
I could see it slowing down, like stopping time with them, but the way that it's explained being like, what, like 1 second or whatever in Valhalla is like 100,000 years in the other areas of the universe. Still seems a bit extreme if only one organist out of the two is playing.
Fair enough.
Let's not forget to mention that, yeah, they come in, we have this whole monologue about how we need to save humanity from Harlock, which again, not piratey. And I guess at that point, the giants or whatever, the guys that are building the spaceship or the fortress, use it to suck up the ship that Alberic and the Arcadia inside of itself, which apparently houses what? Dragon goo?
It's this pink goo they refer to as the dragon.
It's not even pink, it's more like a purple.
Okay.
Because remember, when it gets in the ship, it's like a weird dark purpley mass.
Oh, okay.
And they're like, yeah, you'll just get compressed to death in there, and there's no way to release you without releasing the other one.
A purple ooze attacks them?
It's like a weird purple ooze that's just like a massive jelly ball inside of this Death Star.
Ivan ooze?
I mean, if that's its name, maybe. I don't
Could
know.
it
They
be
didn't
Ivan?
give it a name. It might be. I have no idea.
From Power Rangers.
Oh, I know. I know what you mean.
Maybe that, because he's from space. And maybe
So yeah, Harlock is basically like, oh man, we got to get the ring back because if the ring gets crushed, but then we can't restore the harmony or whatever. So he like takes one of the emergency ships, flies it into Alberich's ship.
Mm-hmm.
Basically runs into Alberich, just shoots him in the shoulder, to which Alberich's like, oh, my shoulder, oh. Harlock just stands over top of him, takes the ring, and he's like, well, you better do your best to defend yourself. Here comes that purple ooze.
Now, does the ring make them invisible?
No, the ring doesn't do shit.
So it's just a thing? It doesn't unlock anything?
It literally doesn't do anything except allow Valhalla to age like a normal thing. Like any normal place.
Be in Valhalla?
What's that?
It needs to be in Valhalla?
It needs to be within a certain range of Valhalla, yes. I believe.
Okay.
But once it's inside that fortress with the goo surrounding it, it's neutralized.
Although, I think in episode 5, with one of the only space battles we have, I thought Albrecht uses his ring, and then his ship starts, like, firing out lasers from all angles.
I didn't see that. Maybe I blinked. I don't know. I just remember seeing all of his other ships, because he built, like, an armada to just get annihilated on the way in.
Okay, because I thought during that scene, he used the ring and, like, powered up his own ship with ring magic or something.
He might have, but I looked away or something then, if that happened, or I blinked. I don't remember that point, but maybe it happened. Either way, that just means the ring makes even less sense as to what it can do. So yeah, Harlock just takes it, and here's what I thought would happen. I thought, oh man, this guy was going on a monologue about how he'd stop at nothing to take down Wotan and the gods. I'm like, oh, cool. He's going to pull a Frieza and just turn around and shoot Harlock in the back and take the ring back. Mm-hmm. No, he's going to shoot at the black ooze that's coming toward him. That clearly won't make a difference if he shoots it, because it's fucking ooze.
Yeah. It's a sentient ooze?
It seems to have some kind of sentience, yes. It's not...
Just like a space
like a basic sentience, I would say.
Okay.
Like, it'll search out, like, living things, it seems like.
It's not controlled by any...
No, it's literally has its own quote-unquote free will, yeah.
Okay. Dang.
So, yeah, Harlock escapes in his ship because fucking Alberich does not give a shit about his own convictions. And gets back to the Arcadia, and the giants that are in charge are like, look, we gotta flush them if we want these guys to survive. He helped protect Freya when Freya was in danger. Blah, 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 blah. So they set a lock release, which will then detonate the fortress afterwards, because I guess once this ooze is free, it'll destroy the fortress or something. They also call the ooze, like, the dragon or something, like it came from a dragon, which just seemed way out of left field.
Mm-hmm.
I have to assume that has something to do with what it was adapted from. So yeah, the thing explodes. Our heroes, quote unquote, get out of there. Everything's all Gucci. They're like, yeah, now time to return this ring. And then everything will be all right. Except for the dragon being on the loose. It seems like that thing's bringing back pure, all the monsters of the old ages. And I'm just sitting there like, how the fuck do you know that? How do you know this? He told you. Makes no sense.
And Harlock kind of, sort of threatens Wotan by saying, like, hey, you may think us humans are insignificant, but just wait until you see what we can do.
the ship flies away, Wotan's just like, I'll always remember your name, Captain Harlock. And I'm just sitting there like, why? Like, let's be real for a second. Okay, let's just be real for 1 second. What did Harlock actually do in this series?
Not much.
Like, let's just take Harlock out for a second. What happens? Albert comes flying in with his ring and gets sucked up into the fortress. And gets crushed. Woo-la-di-da, the rest of the world, everything's fine. It just continues as it was anyway.
Yeah, yada yada.
Yada, yada. His existence in this story doesn't matter.
Oh man.
Well,
one way or another, that ring gets neutralized, whether it's returned to a planet that no longer exists or it's stuck in the fortress, neutralized.
Well, my guess is that maybe Leggy wanted to see if he could adapt an opera, like took it as a challenge as a writer.
They didn't do a good job if I can take your characters out and nothing changes, really. Like, I like this idea. I think it can be done well, but your characters are inconsequential and don't matter.
Albrecht and Mime were characters from the original opera.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting because in the lore of Harlock, there is a character named Mime. So basically, Mime plays Mime.
Mime is Mime?
Yes, there is a female character in Harlock's crew named Mime, and there was a character in the original opera also named Mime. Which is just a little bit interesting that just like
Didn't they just adapt the original character to be in Harlock's crew? Isn't that all that means?
No, because in the 70s there was a Mime in Harlock's crew.
But that's my point. Like, you told me Mime existed in the original play, right?
Yes.
And there's also a Mime in the adaptation.
And other variations of Harlock sources.
That just means that the character from the original was adapted to be part of the crew.
Right.
In the adaptation. That's not anything crazy, I don't think.
No, I'm just saying that even before Harlock Saga, there was a character named Mime in Harlock's crew.
The point is, it's an adaptation of another adaptation, though. Like, that's kind of where I get what I'm getting out of this, is that somebody took Mime from the play, adapted her to be part of Harlock's crew, and now this guy who made Saga is like, well, I'm just going to run with the same crew.
Although I'm not too sure if they adapt. Well, you can't adapt Saga because Saga is based on Rheingold. Like, Harlock as a whole is not based on Rheingold.
Mm-hmm. But you're still taking the same characters, is my point.
Right.
Like I said, it's not anything to write home about when you're taking characters that already exist and just being like, I'm going to keep them.
Oh, okay. Although Mime was, I believe, more of a dark blue in the original Captain Harlock series.
I don't mind the color. I mind do they look the exact same as every other female character?
Which may have been better because Mattel could have been blonde, and then you have dark blue hair Mime in the original.
You would at least been able to tell the difference because of hair color, but their faces are all the same. Their body type's the same. They got the same chin.
How would you react if I would tell you that Esmeralda and Totoro are married?
Ambivalence, I guess? I don't really care.
Okay, because in one adaptation of Harlock, they are married.
Is that the one where he also becomes like the ship's AI?
I believe so.
I mean, then it doesn't really matter. They're not going to get down and jiggy with it or anything. I mean, unless they're into some kind of machine kink, I guess.
All in all, I would say this is a relatively interesting anime.
Mhm.
I wouldn't say it is the best anime because
So far from it.
adapting an opera into an anime might need to be done better, but I'm not saying it's not interesting.
Oh, it's very interesting. Hell, I even kind of like it. It's just there's so many problems I have with it. One of the biggest probably being that the characters don't matter. That I'm like, yes, this is interesting to watch. It's interesting to see these ideas play out. I don't think it's particularly good, but I wouldn't call it the worst thing in the world. It's one of those things where it has a lot of promise and it does some interesting things that do work. And I know I've shit on this a lot with between nitpicking and other things, but like that's not to say I don't think that there are good aspects to it. Like some of the designs are good. I love Tochiro as a character. He's probably the best out of all of them in this because he actually has a character. I don't think, and again, this is probably the dub talking, the voice actor for Harlock really emotes too well. He's just kind of stoic, and that's it. Tochiro at least is willing to shout and scream at things.
He was kind of stoic in the Japanese dub too.
Hmm. Which I think is kind of unfortunate. I think he needs to have more emotion to him. Yeah, Tochiro seems to have way more emotion in what he's saying. Mime is very just monotone, which is unfortunate.
Did they get any like recognizable voice actors for the dub?
I'm not actually sure.
Let me see here.
Oh yeah, who also was the studio that?
Oh.
Oh, Dan Green.
Media, Studio Cab, and Triangle Staff. Lisa Ortiz was Mattel.
Veronica Taylor? I feel like that name's familiar, but I don't know why. They have Dan Green, too. Who did he play again? Oh, shit, that's right. He's fucking Yugi Moto.
You might be looking at a different list of... Because I do not see Dan Green on Wikipedia.
I am looking at behind the voice actors.
Oh.
Yeah, Dan Green played Fassalt, one of the giants that was building the ship. Which is weird because I thought they were played by the exact same voice actor, and they're not. They're two different people.
Oh, never mind. He was using a pseudonym under this.
No, I don't blame him. I was gonna say Lisa Ortiz is in this one too, so they got to be the same. Nathan Price? What else did he play? I know that name. He played Professor Elm in the Pokemon series. Who else? Who else did you play? He played Meowth! He was the original Meowth!
Really?
He's the original Meowth, yes! And he played in Harlock Saga the little... Oh my god, I can't believe I didn't even notice that. It's been so long. He plays Yatron, the first mate.
Oh!
Yeah, the little dude.
Yeah, the little dude.
Okay.
Yeah, he plays the first mate. I can't believe I didn't recognize that. It's been so long since I heard the first Meowth, I think.
I will have to listen to the English dub now.
He is totally the original Meowth.
Huh.
It's definitely a bit higher pitched, I think, than Meowth is, but it's definitely the same voice. Wow.
Oh, wow. Okay, and in the Japanese dub, Captain Harlock is the same voice actor as Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop.
So in the dub, it's Matt Hoverman. I have no idea who this guy has played before. A couple of One Piece characters. He was in Winx Club. He played a couple of Sonic X characters. Huh. 2003 TMNT. That's really about it, honestly.
And I can kind of see, since Spike is kind of stoic, sort of, I can kind of see him playing another stoic character.
Greg Abbey. Oh shit! He's Tristan Taylor. Played Raphael. All right. So wait. Greg Abbey plays who in the dub? He plays Alberic in the dub. But he plays, let's see, Yusei Fudo and Tristan Taylor from Yu-Gi-Oh! He played Raphael in the 2003 TMNT Turtles Forever movie. Oh, interesting. He was the original Yugi Moto before they got Dan Green playing him. Well, now I'm curious because I like Tochiro. David J. Brimmer? Or J. David Brimmer. What else did this guy play? He was an FLCL progressive. He played the eye patch old man.
Oh!
Plays Odeon from the original Yu-Gi-Oh! What else we got here? What else did you play? Yeah, he was in Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. He was a Dusk Noir. Let's see what else we got here. Diamond and Pearl in Pokemon. Was Crasher Wake. Plays Crocodile from One Piece. I plays a couple of other side characters in One Piece too. Interesting. Not seeing any others that are striking me. Some Pokemon side characters.
And since you listen to more subs than I do, Toshihiko Seki, does that name sound at all familiar to you?
See, here's the problem. I'm not going to know most of the Japanese voice actors.
Okay, because this guy has over 250 roles to his name, and he played Tadashi in Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
So, they did have some famous roles in the Japanese dub.
Yeah, I wouldn't say anyone here other than Dan Green is probably particularly famous.
Elisa Ortiz.
What is she done?
She played Mattel.
Yeah, but I mean other than that. Like I don't really know her from anything off the top of my head.
You know that her name sounds so familiar, but I can't spot some things. Oh, she was Lena from Slayers.
Cool. I've never watched that, so I can't comment on that.
That was like her big thing.
Never watched it. Can't speak to it.
Now and then, here and there, she was Lalaru.
I think I watched the sub, so that one doesn't help me either.
So.
Oh, she played Amy Rose a few times.
So. Before we get into another Mark Hamill, he was in this level of voice acting.
At this point, we're just going down the rabbit hole of voice actors.
Yeah, you're just listing voice actors at this point.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you asked the question, Ryan. This is your fault.
Oh yeah, I know.
You initialized all this.
We've been on this for too long. I totally derailed it.
Look, it's your responsibility to put us back on track at this point, Ryan.
Yeah, so we're talking about the Black Ooze.
The Black Ooze / Dragon thing, which is now out in space, supposedly bringing back to life dead evils, I guess, for some reason. That Harlock knows this. I think, to reiterate my point, there's stuff in Harlock that's good. I like the ship design. It looks ridiculous and campy as shit to have a literal back end of a pirate ship as the spaceship's back end. Harlock himself is a good design. The kid, unfortunately, looks too much like Harlock. Like, I would assume Harlock would look as a child. Like, if they could have given him different hair, it would have helped a lot. Toichiro's probably the best character. Fosselt and his brother are just not interesting. They're there for plot more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot it does right. There's a lot more it does wrong, I feel. But I would still recommend to watch it just to see, especially because it's such a short series. It's like 6 half-hour episodes. It'll be a whole 3 hours of your time.
Yeah.
And since this was originally released as an OVA video within 1999, they aren't the same length episodes. There's like a few that are closer to 25 minutes. I think one of them may be a little bit over 27. So,
Again, like I said, it'll take you a whole 3 hours to watch everything.
That's not bad.
and what did you think of the Flight of the Valkyries playing?
I'm like, of course they're using this. Flight of the Valkyries, Valhalla, fucking Norse mythology. Of course they're going to use this. Like, from any standpoint, it makes sense. Do I think it works in the scene? It serves its purpose. I wouldn't say they couldn't have found something better, but it works for what they needed it to do.
And
And it was probably royalty free.
I just wonder if the opening theme is at all from the opera itself. It sounds
It's probably from some opera because it does sound operatic. Like, it just sounds like a slowly growing tune. I feel like the intro could have been a bit punchier. Like, they could have found something a bit better, but they just went for the slow. They just went for the slow growing sound.
They
it
wanted
seemed
like the Star Wars effect with just orchestra and like that kind
probably yes, but the Star Wars effect is probably way
Or,
better considering it's way punchier.
I guess it is like a space opera.
Kind
Or
of
not.
is.
Or yeah.
I could
Yeah.
see I could see someone saying that that Star Wars is a space opera. I could see the argument.
I'm in Harlock Saga.
What, that Harlock
It's
Saga
the-
is a space opera? Or,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
Okay.
It's defined that way. I don't know. I'd give this like a 5. It's mediocre at it's probably like mediocre at best and worst, honestly, on a scale of 1 to 10.
I am leaning more towards a 7 for me because I like it, but I don't love it.
See, this is where I wish I would have made a list of like what we've scored things, because I'm gonna sit here and be like, wait a minute, you're gonna score fucking Akudama Drive on the same level as Harlock Saga, really?
No. I gave Akudama at least an 8, if I remember.
But no, that'd be my point, where I'm like, you're really gonna say these two are the same? I feel like Harlock's worse than this.
Like I said, I was a little bit less turned off by the faults of it. Maybe because
Including all the plot problems?
mm,
There's nothing to return the Rheingold to! Your whole ending sequence is null and void!
well, maybe it makes sense more in the opera.
Yeah.
You are... Well, no shit, it would make sense more on the opera because the adaptation didn't fuck it up.
Okay, fine. I'll lean into you and say 6.5.
Oh my fucking god.
Oh man. So, what do you guys rate this out of like 10?
I think we just got past that part.
We literally just said 6.5, 7 for me,
Is that what?
5 for him.
I'm saying 5.
All right, that's what I thought. What's going on?
I don't know much about next week's to tease it. I just sent it to you on Facebook, Brandon.
Oh, to remind me, right. Because I didn't even think about looking that far ahead. Oh, right. There's only one rule. We don't talk about it.
Is there a Space Pirate Fight Club?
It's probably something close to that, I'll be honest. I don't know much about this one either. I just heard it's good.
So, we'll catch everybody next week for some, Japanese Fight Club?
This is what I think it is.
Wait, damn it. I won't guess what it is.
You'll forget by next time.
Is it a recent? Hold on, is it a recent anime?
It is recent, yes.
Oh, I think I might know, but maybe not. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Well, it would be interesting for Ryan to know one for once.
Yeah, to know more, especially a recent one.
Well, because I did start watching the one on Netflix.
We'll see. We'll see what we got going on here.
Probably
Ooh.
isn't, because the one I watch apparently isn't a good anime.
Yeah.
Stupid. But I enjoy
But
it.
extra excitement. Does he know?
I don't know. It's a good one. We'll find
see.
out. Bigger cliffhanger than normal.
Yeah, dude, make a little slight cliffhanger. So stay tuned. Will I know?
Later.
See you.
Bye.